Good morning, everyone. I think we'll start with the introduction of our speaker, Mr. Mustafa. I'll just spend 2 minutes in introducing him, and then we'll hand over to him. Already seen in his profile, which was circulated, he has got, Mr. Mustafa has got more than 20 years, 22 years experience in project and program management, and space, industry, etc. He is also co-writer of the book, also contributor at PM60. He is core team member for PM's practice guide, governance of projects, programs, and portfolios, and also core team member for PMI's practice guide, benefits realization management. He is co-founder of Turkey PMI. So that is a major introduction, I would say, or more than that, we cannot say anything. That itself says a lot about him. And he is currently working on in an aerospace and defense company as program director, and also steering committee member of European Union Civil Society Development Project of PMI Turkey chapter. So with this introduction, I'll hand over to Mr. Mustafa. And as I said, it's early morning in Turkey. So once more, I would say thanks a lot for joining us at this early hour and sharing your knowledge. A lot of knowledge sharing from. And for participants, before I hand over, I'll just lay down agenda for today. We are starting at 10:10. So we'll go ahead with this lecture for nearly 1 hour, as we usually do. We'll take a break around 11:10 for 15 minutes so that everyone can take a bio break. We can freshen up and come back. And at 11:25, we'll resume the session. We'll go ahead with the session up to 12:25. Last 10 minutes we'll keep for any question and answers. Though Mr. Mustafa has shared with me that he would like questions and he would like to get responses or all attendees during the session. So what everyone can do is they can give their feedback or answers in that chat, which we can see or which he can see, and then we'll know what are the responses. Okay. And second thing is this is being recorded session so that people, those who are missing it out, can view it later on from our social media platforms like LinkedIn or YouTube. Like every time, you don't need to give us your ID, PMI ID for claiming PDUs. We will be getting all the attendance from the WebEx software itself, who has attended out of all the registrations which we have. And as usual, would request people, those who are attending, not to switch on their video or audio so that we can hear this speaker throughout the session. Thanks a lot. Handing over to Mr. Mustafa. Swati ji, can you make him presenter? He can. Yes, sir. Handing over to you.
Okay. Could you please also open the share? Give me the sharing option. Thank you very much, Ketan, for this nice introduction. Hello and welcome everyone to all PMI Mumbai chapter members and also all project management professionals. And also I want to congratulate you because it is also early morning in India and you are here. You have chosen to be here in order to learn and share. That means that you are really very eager to get out of your comfort zone. So I want to congratulate you. We have facing challenging times and lots of things out of our control. but there are also things that we can control. So I strongly believe that we should concentrate on these things that we can control to deal with these challenges. So learning and sharing are two important things that we can do in order to control and improve ourselves. So I could not get the control over the share Ketan yet, so I'm waiting for that. And before my presentation, may I ask you, why are you here? I mean, what is your expectation from this 2.5 hours? What are you expecting to leave at the end of this session? Could you please write down a few words on the chat box, and may I just read a few of them? What is your expectation? Why are you here? So if I pronounce your name, please excuse me. Apilash says that he is here to understand and learn about project success and benefit realization from a different perspective. Yes, this session will include two main parts. In the first part, we will talk about project success, and the second part we will talk about benefit realization. Knowledge updation, yes. Learning more about project management and improve on my skills. Yes, I'll try to actually show you the future of project management. Some projections from now to the future. So what actually the future is, near future, fast coming future. So it's not the long term. So Ahmedabad is here to learn out of project experiences. Yes, I will also share my specific experiences from my industry and company. And what else? So while I'm getting the answers, Ketan, still I cannot share my content. I need some
You
authorization
should be able
from
to share. I have made you a presenter.
and to learn what are the benefits of project success. Why is it necessary that projects must succeed? So we will talk lots of about benefits, and we will also define what we understand from benefit. And throughout the session, I will ask you to prepare a paper, not a big one, a small one, a small piece of paper and a pen. We will make a quick exercise on that. So please make your piece of paper and pen ready. We will need them throughout the session. Ethan, still I cannot share.
Oh, okay, okay. 1 minute. Let me just ask PMI, IT to stop sharing.
the main challenge during this topic, project success and benefit realization, we have actually two main challenges in nowadays. The first one is that perceptions. When I say success, we will see that each of us within the project, within the organization, understand different things. And the second challenge regarding with benefit is the time dependency. Since our projects are defined as temporary, as you know, they have an end and they have a starting point and ending point. So we cannot, it is not a continuous process. But when we talk about benefits, mostly they are realized at the end of the project, after the project has ended. So that is the second challenge. Today, we will talk about these also two challenges, different perceptions of success and time dependency of benefits, even if the projects are temporary. So I will also try to show the ways on how to tackle with these two challenges. And I hope that will help you also in your organizations and in your projects. So I'm still waiting for the privilege to share my screen, so I can start.
I'm not host. Now I can make him presenter. Change role to presenter. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, now check.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
Now he is presenter.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So let it continue now. Yeah. And
Okay. Ketan, you can see my presentation, I think.
Yes, we are able to see your screen.
Okay. Now, Ketan talked about me shortly. I'm currently working at for the last 8 years in aerospace and defense company, SDT Space and Defense Technologies. Before that, I worked over 13 years in the largest aerospace electronics company in Turkey called Aselsan. So I have over 22 years experience on managing projects and programs. I also teach for the last 6 years at the top universities in Turkey project management, the fourth year students and MBA students. I have a book in Turkish on project management written in Turkish, and it's also a course book for some universities.
and then you can drop out, no issue. You can drop out.
And I'm also core committee member of two practice guides of PMI, Governance of Portfolios, Programs and Projects and Benefit Realization Management. I'm the co-founder of PMI Turkey chapter. It is, I think now, 12 years old.
Hello.
And I'm also,
Hello.
there's a background voice.
Hello.
Please unmute also.
Hello.
So I was
Hello.
president of PMI chapter.
Hello. You called me or?
I'm also presenting at various global organizations, and I like to share my experience and knowledge with people and professionals like me. And I had completed over 100 projects and programs within these 22 years, and their budget now is over $1 billion. So I'm here to share my experience. So let me just start with my famous question. According to you, when we talk about success in project management, in projects, can you just write one word or a few words for your success definition? The keywords that on the chat box, that when we see that, it means that project is successful. Please write it down. Your words about project success. Customer satisfaction. Good. What else? On-time delivery. Yeah, time is very crucial. User requirements satisfied. Accomplished business needs. Okay. When I say, yes, this project is very successful. So achievement as planned. Excellent. Achieving the scope set out of or within the stipulated cost on time with customer delight, acceptance of the defined scope within resources, including approved scope chains. Excellent. Okay. Let's sum up of all these comments. And do you think that if we achieve all these things on time, within budget, customer delight, acceptance of defined scope within resources, so can we say that project is successful? Why say that any project can be said to be successful if it is able to achieve its desired objective within time and allotted resources? Okay. Then let me go on. Thank you for this excellent comments. I all agree with them. But now I will introduce you two examples from the literature. These two projects are very famous in the literature. Maybe you have come up with them. Let me just show you why they are very famous in the literature. First of all, this is a metro project. Where is it? You can just have some clues from the picture. Yes, it is United States, and it is New York Metro project. So this project, looking at the parameters you have mentioned, time, scope, cost, it's a very successful project. It was completed within time, within budget, and within scope. So from those perspectives, the customer, also the municipality, was very happy with the completeness of this project, with the scope of the project. But something happened. As it was completed in New York, the people living in New York did not use it. So there's a great project, but nobody is using. And then some surveys were made, and it is understood that the people living in New York get used to driving cars, and they love driving cars, and they don't want to use metro. So we have a project, but nobody uses at that time. Let me just write your opinion. I will have two questions. Write down your answers to the chat box. Is this a successful project or an unsuccessful project? Yes. Yes, or successful or unsuccessful. You may write yes for unsuccessful, no for unsuccessful also. Do I answer? No, no. Okay. Viral, agile, unsuccessful, unsuccessful. But I actually almost told the positive sides that you have mentioned in your previous comments. It was within budget, within scope. It was on time. Customers was satisfied with this project. The project objectives were unsuccessful, but the project execution was successful. But the project objective was to complete this metro within the given parameters. So there is the metro. So is this? You all say that. Most of the people actually answered this. Say that this is unsuccessful. Okay, my second question. Okay, well, I'm talking about the objective. So what the objective is actually? What do we mean with the objective? What about the project manager? Is he or she successful or unsuccessful? Project manager. Here comes the challenging question. Okay, some say yes. I see yeses. I see no's. What else? Whom else? Please tell us your opinion. No. So you are the project manager. You have a project charter and you think that you completed all the things written in the project charter. So Ketan says successful. Tushar says unsuccessful. So we have some different perspectives from this point. Now, thank you very much for your answers. So Pramila also nice comment. No, because change management wasn't done properly. Actually, okay, change management we'll also talk about. Devendra says unsuccessful because of project done with the scope time and cost people did not use. So do you think that you are a project manager within our organization and you are given the objective of delivering a product within the 3 parameters, cost, time, and budget in the organization, and you complete it within that time and cost and scope, and you deliver the product on time. And if the organization, the marketing department cannot sell it, cannot market it, then would you think that as a project manager, do you feel that you are successful or unsuccessful? That is the question actually. So Aja actually just touched my heart with his with the answer, public stakeholder ignored. So maybe the critical thing is stakeholder. We will talk about it. Now, may I just switch to the second example? Here are some statistics also. You can find different success factors regarding with these large projects. So depending on political control, national government guidance, planning effectiveness, finance, policy. So there are some different ways to look at these success factors. But I will quickly switch to the second one. Okay. I'm sure you all know this picture. Can anyone just type the so I can be sure that you also know this picture? Please type. What? Where is this? What is this? Yes, Tushar, thank you very much. Okay, this is the famous Opera House in Sydney. That's right. Excellent. Now, my question. Your guess, this is the budget, initial budget of this project, written in the project charter. Your estimation, could you please estimate the completion cost of this excellent building? Just write down a number. Your estimation. $7 million was the initial budget, planned budget. Write down, please, a few numbers. 20 million, okay. Okay, 1 billion, wow. 20 million, $54 million. Okay, here comes. This building was completed in $102 million. A huge deviation from the initial. And it was planned to be completed in 4 years. Do you have an estimation for the completion date? Yes, you can. Yes, please. 5 years? 10 years? 14 years. Yeah, it was completed in 14 years. But Now, more than 10.9 million people visit this opera house every year. I think this year will not be that much, but normally more than almost 11 million people visit the opera house every year. And it is an unexpected revenue for Sydney. Nobody was expecting such a huge revenue, such a huge attraction point when they were planning this marvelous building. So now here comes the question. Looking at your chat comments, scope, time, customer, cost. So is this project a successful project or not? Could you please write down your opinion also? A successful project or unsuccessful project? Now. Rafael, successful. Manish, successful. Yes, opera house is synonym to successful. Okay. Alhat says successful. Tushar says successful. Waterfall. Yes, Neman. Ajay say yes, successful. So what happened to cost? What happened to schedule? What happened to scope? What about project manager? Is he or she successful or unsuccessful? So Naman says approved scope changes. Okay, but we have a plan and we are approved, but deviation is huge. What about project manager? Is he or she successful or unsuccessful? What do you think? So Naman said the project is a success. Okay, we can also discuss that. We will discuss that. Successful. Okay, Rafael says project manager is also successful. I say successful. Okay. When I asked this question in my presentations, last year I was in Bulgaria, Sofia. There were 150 project managers from all over Europe. And I asked these questions. Generally, 50% of the attendees said the projects are successful or unsuccessful. 50%. But 90% of the attendees always say that project manager is successful, whatever the case. So this is actually interesting. So we have different perspectives. So we will today start with talking about the definition of project success. Thank you very much for your contributions. We will also discuss in the coming slides. So what is success? We have different perspectives because success means different things to different people. So this is the critical thing that we have to know as a project manager. So why is it important to define success for project? Here I will show the results of 3 very good academic research. The first one is the lack of awareness and conflicting perceptions of project success criteria among various stakeholder groups regularly leads to project failures. So if you cannot define project success criteria, your project is about to fail, one of the causes. And resolution of conflicting interpretations. If you can solve the conflicting success interpretations, you can reduce the occurrence of project failure. So that's why we should focus on project success definition. That's why it is critical. So organizations don't do projects because they can. They do projects because they add to a strategic outcome. So we have a strategic objective to achieve when we are starting projects. We should not forget that. Now, may I just tell me, just a moment. Yeah. May I just tell me what I have experienced last week in my company, STT. Last week I was in a meeting with my CEO and executive team to start the preparation for a bid. It was a huge bid. And so if we can win the bid, as you know, the project will start. So it depends on the start of the win of the bid. So my CEO was sitting next to me, turned to me and told Mustafa, you are the project management expert. Wouldn't it be beneficial to include a project manager to this meeting, to this bidding phase? Normally, as you know, since there's no project nowadays, it's only at the bidding phase. We are preparing a proposal. We don't include project managers in general. But I answered that would be a great for the project manager to observe and understand the expectations of top management, the expectations of the other stakeholders. And moreover, project manager can contribute to this process with his experience, because he have some other experiences from other projects. So we made a decision last week to include a project manager to this proposal phases. So now actually a rule in my company starting from the last week, because we will see that expectations are critical and we have to check those expectations as early as possible to define project success. Now, let me just ask you to prepare your piece of paper, small piece of papers and a pen, please. If I will just wait for 30 seconds, if some of you did not find any. With this piece of paper, just draw a line in the middle of the page. It should not be as large as this one. I will ask you to draw two things in 40 seconds. If you are ready, I will start it. Are you ready? Now, for sections. On the left side of the paper, you have 40 seconds. Please draw a house. And on the right hand side of the paper, please draw coffee. And your time has started. 40 seconds. On the left hand side, draw a house. On the right hand side, draw a coffee. 40 seconds. In 40 seconds. You have 15 seconds. Okay, I think you are ready, I hope. Now I have two questions about your drawings. Don't worry, I will not ask you to show your drawings. Actually, when I make this face-to-face. People are generally reluctant. They don't want to show their drawings. Me also, me too. I don't want to show my drawings. I'm not very well, but it doesn't matter how you draw well or not. My first question is, looking at your first drawing, house. Does your house have a chimney at the top, at the roof? A chimney at the roof. Okay. Aja says yes. Devendra says no. Tushar says no. Yes. Tushar, yes. And Naman says no. Viral says no. Alhat says yes. Almost 50%, I guess. Okay. The ones who have chimney, do you also have a smoke coming from the chimney? Yes or no? Do you have a smoke coming from the chimney in your house picture? Any smoke from the chimney? No. No, yes. Alhat has both chimney and the smoke. Good. Yes. Shallow says yes. Okay. So now, yes, Murali, you are right. If you don't have a chimney, that would be very interesting. If you have both, if you don't have any chimney but a smoke, that would be the greatest. That would be the, I think, most innovative house drawing in the world. So why not? We are open to innovation, you know. Now, let's get back to the second drawing, coffee. So who drew a cup? Yes, a normal cup. Yes, yes, yes. What about anyone drawing a cup like Starbucks cup of coffee? Okay. Pramila, Samnitrat, I think you are the, okay, Tushar like a beer mug. Okay. What about the Starbucks? Some of you I see. Yeah, CCD coffee. Okay, Murali. And what about anyone other than cup? The real coffee bean. Only bean. Anyone? Coffee bean? No? Nobody bean? Coffee bean? Okay. Let me summarize what we have done now. We have different perceptions. I ask these questions when I start my presentations, actually, in order to show our different perceptions. When I ask this question in the northern part of the Europe, you know, they are very cold. They are very cold countries. Now, over 90% of the drawings include a chimney and a smoke. But in the Mediterranean side, almost no chimney. And about coffee, when I ask this question in the Latin America side, most of the people, other than the teenagers, because teenagers start to Starbucks coffee, but middle-aged and over-age people draw coffee beans. But if you ask this question in Asia, it is cup of coffee. But if I ask this question to my students in the university, most of them draw Starbucks type of coffee cup. So you see, very simple two words, how. And we all have different perceptions because we have different education, different experiences, different language, different religion, different social relationships. So these differences actually establish or construct a filtering mechanism in our minds. So when we see a word like house, those filtering mechanisms are effectively making us to understand what we understand from that word house. And it is like the word success, even success is difficult because each of us within the organization or within the project have different expectations, have different experiences. So these also establish different filtering mechanisms. So our success definition differs. I hope this exercise is useful to understand different perceptions. Let me then go on the success definition. When we talk about success, especially after the starting with the end of 1990s, most of the academicians focus on this success definition because they have observed that this definition is very important, very crucial for project success. So I will here put some really good research results in terms of to define success. First of all, project management performance. It is very critical for project success. When we say project management performance, we actually mean the triple constraint: scope, cost, and schedule. So almost all of you mentioned at the beginning of the session in your chat comments. These are really critical. And we call them project management performance parameters. And in order to reach to the success definition, we have also project success part. They are deliver benefits and create value. Like Sydney Opera House, there's a value. Even if you haven't planned, there's a value. So the success depends on project management performance and project success. So there is the surveys, the results of this academic research also show us that almost 60 to 80% of all organizations fail in executing their strategies by not delivering the expected outcomes. And most of the large-scale change efforts fall short of expectations, mainly due to focusing on individual projects and only judging their performance based on time, scope, and budget. Meaning that if you only focus on project management performance, but not the other delivering value and creating benefit, which we call here project success, then actually projects are getting failed. So we have to redefine success. We have to combine all these parameters into our success definition. So here is a summary of actually what we have to think about when we are defining our project success. Triple constraint, we have to think this as an internal measure. So here our intention is to satisfy the interest groups inside the organization. So we have to complete our project within budget, on time, and within our scope, so that our project sponsor will be satisfied, our other stakeholders like CEOs, C-level people, executives will be satisfied with this triple constraint achievement. And as some of you mentioned in the chat box comment at the beginning, customer satisfaction. So project managers are expected to behave as sales representatives for the company. Here, customer satisfaction is one of the parameters to be put in our success definition. And this is the most difficult, I guess. future possibilities that a project can create. Commercial success, generate new business, new opportunities like Sydney Opera House. There is a new opportunity there. So we have to put also these future possibilities that a project can create into our project success definition. Here comes the part. Now, this is a time-dependent, including project success dimensions that we have just mentioned. This is a graph by Aaron Shenhar. He was the keynote speaker, I think 4 years ago in a project management summit in Turkey. I invited him. He lives in the United States, one of the PMI fellows and great academician. He is working on, actually he has a book called Reinventing Project Management. I also recommend reading that book. And he actually shows us that this time dependency is the challenging and the critical part. Because, as you can see, project is completed, and in the first part, project efficiency is the part that we generally look at for the project success. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, after the project has completed, the benefits are getting realized, getting observed, being implemented. So this part, the part that the project is completed, after the project is completing, is the challenging part. So time, what this is for think about the project manager and the project team. As the project is completed, project manager and the project team, they are all assigned to another project. So they are not really directly related with this after the project happened. So, but project efficiency, all the things, actually all the results of what you do during the project execution affects these customer and impact, business challenge, and preparing for the future. So what you do during the project execution actually will result in the second, third, and fourth part of the challenging. So we have to think about working on them also. This is the challenging part. But most of the time, we will see there will be always dilemmas, conflicting parts when we are taking decisions as project managers, because some decision will help us to improve benefits, to define benefits in the future, but that decision may result in the delay or increase in the expected cost. So as a project manager, if your focus is on project efficiency, you will choose the decision of project efficiency, not delivering the benefits in the future. So this is the most critical part. So we will see how to tackle with that. Let's now talk about the how part. And in our organizations, for our projects, how we are going to define our project success, how we are going to create our success definitions. Critical answer, one of the attendees also mentioned in the chat box, stakeholder expectations. So we have to discover and identify stakeholder expectations. That's why last week in my organization, I really started with my CEO to include our project manager into the proposal phase, because we have to discover and identify expectations, stakeholder expectations, as early as possible. That's the only actual aim for that decision. One of the I use in my projects and programs are project promoter in order to discover and identify expectations. I don't know whether you have heard project promoter. It is also very useful to use in identifying risks in projects. When I say project premortem, it is the premortem term is the hypothetical opposite of mortem. The postmortem, it's in a medical setting, allows health professionals and the family to learn what caused a patient's death. So, with an analogy to project management, actually postmortem would be the lessons learned. So after the project has completed, and whether it is unsuccessful or not, you come up with the stakeholders and your project team and discuss the reasons of the unsuccessful part or the good parts. But when I talk about premortem, you gather with your team and the other stakeholders and assume that today, that day is the end of the project, and now you discuss as if that was the last day. And what you discuss, ask stakeholders to visualize the end of the project as successful and make them define what they see. So you can understand their success expectations. Or you may create different project closing scenarios and ask and discuss whether they are successful or not. As I mentioned, you can also use this project premortem. It is also very successful in the application of risk management. I also use in risk management meetings, in my project team meetings. And I ask to my team members, today, the end of the last date of the project, and the project is unsuccessful. What made the project unsuccessful? So you ask the people, what is the potential risk? Most people will tell you general things. So if you ask from the ending point, just today we are the end of the day of the project, we are unsuccessful. What made this project unsuccessful? You will face with incredible answers, and it will really help you to manage also your risks. So this is a very good tool to identify and understand the expectations of your stakeholders. Other than if you ask what is your expectation, you will just have the answer of a general view. So this will help you to understand the details of those expectations. So let's make a quick example. This seminar, this webinar, what is success for you? Let's today, now it is 12:30. We are at the end of the seminar. Are you happy with the seminar since it was completed on time or within scope, or gaining some applicable information, or what? So now we have finished the seminar. We have finished the seminar. How do you feel? In order to be successful, in order to call this webinar as successful, what is your thoughts? Could you please write down on the chat box? All three parameters. Okay, Lavendra. So if I now I completed the seminar on time and within the scope that I defined at the beginning, and if you can just gain some applicable information, you will, now it is successful. Carry forward the learnings, okay, implementing the information, okay, gaining information, gathering some key learnings from this seminar will be success for me, okay. Actually, will be don't use will be, because now I say that it is finished. So if you feel that you get that information now, insights, gaining new information. Okay. So now I see your expectations. Even if I cannot complete this webinar on time, but if I can give you more information that you can use in the future, your projects, then you will feel that this webinar is a successful webinar. So when I just see your comments, I can just get the expectations of yours, and I can define my success criteria for this webinar. Use of information to get results. Okay. Gaining some applicable information. Now, I feel more comfortable with my success definition. I feel that, okay, in order to achieve this webinar, I can extend this webinar for more 10 minutes, but give more applicable information to the people. I feel, looking at your comments. So this is my now success definition. Thank you very much for your comments. So let's revisit this graph. Time dependency. Looking at the analogy, looking at the previous example. So I complete my webinar, and this is the project efficiency side. And now I will disappear from the world now, from your world. And I will not see whether you are using this information, applicable information, in your projects, in your organizations. Whether maybe you will be achieving some business success by using project more time, for example, or by defining your project success, by considering your project stakeholder expectations, and you will achieve a business success, or you will prepare for the future with new ideas generated from today's. I will not see them. But what I do now will affect the future. And this happens actually. I will not be aware of the benefits. So this is what I try to explain, the challenging part as a project management point of view, because you cannot see the future since we end the project. This is the greatest challenge, and I will talk about how to deal with that. And may I just also summarize some findings from these project success research. Ernst Schenhar found that the importance of project success dimensions clearly varies with technological uncertainty. And specifically, the importance of meeting time and budget constraints is reduced with increased uncertainty. So if you have a high uncertainty in your project, meeting time and budget constraints, the importance of them is reduced. And the impact of the project has on the customer increases when moving from low-tech projects into projects of higher uncertainty. So if most of the thing is clear, if uncertainty level is low, the triple constraints has high importance. But if you have a higher uncertainty, if you have if your project requires a high technology, then these three parameters importance decrease. So it is an interesting point that we can discuss from these findings. And I have some suggestions, accumulated some suggestions for you for up to now. First of all, if you can just observe, we need a multi-dimensional approach. We cannot just say scope, time, and budget. We have to go beyond time, cost, and budget and develop a multi-dimensional approach to the concept of project success. And we have to try to specify project objectives as early as possible. That's critical. And we have to focus managers and team member attention on the project's expected results also. And make strategic benefits planned to be gained from the project visible to all. So people should know, should be aware of the strategic benefits planned gained from your project. And incorporate these benefits as predetermined measures to assess project success. So let me just focus on what we should think about when we say purpose. Purpose, success parameters. We have 3 success parameters actually in our project. The purpose is one of the crucial ones. What I mean with purpose, it's the communication of organizational strategic objectives. So in organizations with a clear and explicit statement of strategic objectives, 71% of projects met their original goals and business intent compared to 59% at companies that don't have clear objectives. So we have to identify our objective. We have to have a purpose for our projects, and it is not enough. We have to communicate this purpose with all our stakeholders, including our project team. And the other success parameters are passion and performance. So having that purpose and passion with a high performance, we can achieve our projects, and everybody calls them success, not only me as a project manager. So we have a long road from product creation to value creation. Now we have to focus our attention not only to product creation, but also value creation as a project manager. And schedule, cost, scope. We have really challenges in schedule, cost, and scope. Each year, PMI conducts some research. Maybe some of you have seen that. This is last year's research. What percentage of the projects completed within your organization in the past 12 months finished within the initial budgets? 57. Finished within the initially scheduled times? 51. Almost half of the projects were not completed within time, budget, and scope. This is also still a challenging part. Even if we could not achieve a full success with these performance parameters, which we call critical constraints also, or project efficiency, we will be also dealing with the benefit, the value side. The things are getting tough. So PMI, as you know, developed a talent triangle, and technical project management and leadership is very famous nowadays. We are focusing on mostly developing these skills, but strategic and business management. Today, what we talk about, actually, the terms of the project success is mostly related with strategic and business management. And fewer than half of the surveyed organizations identify any role for project managers. So project managers are not taught as people related with strategic and business management. But if you cannot set up that link between project management and strategic management, and then you lose the purpose, you lose the future benefits, you lose to create value. So that's why it is important to develop our on strategic and business management as a project manager. And looking at the PMBOK guide, I was also the contributors of these guides from 4th edition to 6th edition. And what happened coming from 4th edition to the 6th edition, 5th edition and 6th edition, a new knowledge area is added: stakeholder management. This was not used in the previous versions. Because of the importance of the success parameter, one of the success parameters, stakeholders, PMI created this knowledge area because without considering the stakeholder expectations, without managing your stakeholders, you will not be able to really reach to project success. And one of the great academicians in project management is Pinto. He has various research, and he has a importance versus status graphs actually mentioning whatever phase you are in the project, even if you are conceptualization, project planning, execution, or termination, strategy has always higher importance than tactics. You may be actually completing the project in a very cost-effective way, very earlier than expected than ever, within high scope. However you achieve those project efficiencies, strategy will be always at a higher importance. So we have to always put this link between tactics and strategy. That's the critical thing that we have to think about. Let me just complete this first part with these two. A successful project manager must be able to move between strategic and tactical considerations as the project moves forward, and benefit realization management closes the gap between strategic management and project management. So, in the second part, we will see how to close this gap by using benefit realization management. Ketan, can we give a break now?
Yes. If you feel this is a logical point, then we can break and we'll meet after 15 minutes. So guys, it's 11:16, so we start at 11:30 now. I hope everyone is enjoying. I can see a lot of interaction coming on the chat, so I'm sure people are enjoying it and paying attention to this lecture. So let's meet at 11:30.
Okay, see you. 15
Okay.
minutes.
We'll start playing some presentation, so we might take a control from you, and when we want to start, I'll hand over again control to you. Okay.
Okay.
हा हॅलो.
स्वातीजी,
हा पण
because
ते चॅटचं काय होतं तर सगळ्यांना आहे म्हणजे अटेंडीजला चॅट अलाउड आहे तर तुम्हाला दिसलं पाहिजे कुठेतरी तुमच्या स्क्रीनवर असेल.
Swatiji, if you can be on mute.
हॅलो. तर कुठेतरी असलं
Swati,
पाहिजे तुमच्या ह्याच्यावरती आणि नाहीतर मग चॅटचं काय असेल ते आम्हाला तुम्ही कम्युनिकेट करा जर का तुम्हाला आता काही प्रॉब्लेम इमिजिएट म्हणजे नोटिफाय करायचं असेल तर तुम्हाला जर ते
Swatiji,
सापडत नसेल चॅटचं बटन हे कारण की एव्हरी वन अटेंडन्सला चॅट अलाउड आहे तर ते तुमच्या ह्याच्यावरती असलं पाहिजे मोबाईल म्हणजे स्क्रीनवर. कारण की बाकी 50 अटेंडन्स जॉईंड आहेत तर सिस्टीमचा काही प्रॉब्लेम नाहीये म्हणजे तुमच्या ह्याच्यावरतीच कुठेतरी ते शोधावं लागेल तुम्हाला असं. हा हा. तर ते काही म्हणजे प्रॉब्लेम नाही कारण की बाकीचे लोक चॅटमध्ये कम्युनिकेट करतायत ऑलरेडी 50 जण आहेत आणि एव्हरीवन इज एबल टू डू इट. तुमच्या स्क्रीनवरतीच कुठेतरी ते शोधायला लागेल. आणि आता ते बाकी हे नाहीच द्यायचंय म्हणजे पीएमआय आयडी वगैरे आता ऑटोमॅटिकली तुमच्या रजिस्ट्रेशन मधूनच कॅप्चर होतो. काय नाही पीएमआय आयडी वगैरे जे आहे ना ते वेबएक्स मध्ये आता ऑटोमॅटिकलीच हे होईल तुम्हाला ते चॅट वरती लिहिण्याची गरज नाही म्हणजे असं कोणाला अटेंडन्सला. हा हा ते आता रजिस्ट्रेशन मध्येच आपण कॅप्चर करतो ते ऑटोमेट केलंय ते आता प्रत्येकाने मॅन्युअली चॅट मध्ये देण्याची गरज नाही. वी हॅव ऑटोमेटेड इट थ्रू वेबएक्स म्हणजे वेबएक्स. Yes, 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 yes. Using the same link, you will be able to enter. हाँ, हो, no problem. Yes, 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 we know. Yeah, no problem. Okay.
Hello everyone. I hope everyone is back. We are going to start in another 1 minute. Some announcement before we start, and I hand over to Mr. Mustafa. As we have been doing after every PM forum, we'll be sending you link for providing your feedback. Please provide your feedback. It gives us opportunity to improve on any areas which you think there's a scope for improvement. So requesting everyone to provide a feedback which will be on the link which will be circulating today or tomorrow. And as mentioned, last 10 minutes we'll have question answer round and also vote of thanks, followed by giving one token of appreciation certificate to Mr. Mustafa for sharing his knowledge, sparing his time for doing this session. I would invite our president, Mr. Bharat Bhai, for doing that honors. But right now, let's start with our seminar. Swatiji, if you can stop presenting and provide control to Mr. Mustafa. Yes, Mr. Mustafa, over to you.
Okay. Hello again. I'm waiting for the share button to be active. Okay.
Yes, we are able to see your screen now.
Thank you very much. Start with the second part as defining our benefit. So could you please write down your benefit definition? What do you understand when I say benefit in projects, in project management, or in organization? With a few words, please. What is benefit? So says value created over the term. So value, you mean revenue addition to business, more efficient or faster way of doing something. Okay, business value, profit, future prospects, achieving expected result. Okay. What about unexpected ones? Process improvement, what says? Yes. Yes, that's a fine answer. Anyone would like to share? Benefit. Customer delight. Absolutely. What about if you decrease the employee retention rate in your organization with an effective managing way of projects? So your project team members are very happy with working with their project managers or project sponsor, and they don't leave the organization. Is that a benefit that was created by the project? Yes, let's think about that also. Okay, let me give you the general definition of benefit. Is there a background noise? I hear some noises, by the way. So, is defined as a gain realized by the organization and beneficiaries through portfolio program and project outputs and resultant outcomes. This is the PMI's practice guides benefit realization management definition. It's a gain, and it should be realized by the organization and beneficiaries. Beneficiaries may be all stakeholders, especially like the critical ones, customers, sponsors, executives. And my favorite definition by Bradley, it's benefits. He says benefit is an outcome of change which is perceived as positive by a stakeholder. So you have lots of stakeholders for your project, and if a change, an outcome of a change is perceived as positive by that stakeholder, then it's a benefit. So benefit is actually huge set of has a huge set of ingredients, and it depends on again to the stakeholder expectations. That's why at the beginning of our session and throughout our session in the first part, we always mention the stakeholder expectations. If we can understand that, we can also define lots of benefits for bring our project or at the beginning of our project. So where is the benefit? As I mentioned you in the first part, they are on the impacting side of the customer, business success, preparing for the future. So they are generally, most of them are after the project side, looking at this time dependency. So what is benefit realization management then? It is an approach to help close that gap by aligning portfolios, programs, and projects to the organization's overarching strategy. So by developing a benefit realization management in our organization, we are actually trying to close the gap between strategy and execution. That's a great tool. That's why it's getting more favorite in the organizations. Benefits realization actually illustrates and measures precisely how projects and programs add true value to the enterprise. So that's why it is critical for our organizations. And good PRM helps correct strategy misalignment, improve initiative selection, integrate outputs and outcomes, which I will define them once more in the coming slides. They are very critical. And transition to operations resulting in measurable benefits to deliver more value to the organization. Now, looking at this definition, if we have a really good BRM in your organization, okay, we have a strategy, correcting strategy misalignment, improve initiative selection, because focusing on the benefits will help us which projects to select, which project to start, and integrate outputs and outcomes. But we use benefits to deliver more value. What is the difference between benefit and value? Then there should be a difference. I will come to that in a moment. But who is responsible to develop such a good BRM in the organization? Now, it's not only the responsibility of the project sponsor or project manager or executives or strategic management department. It is a common responsibility. Project program portfolio managers should be responsible, executive sponsors, senior executives, company owner, and benefit owner. Now, here comes the critical role in benefit realization management, benefit owner. It is introduced with this new concept. We will also talk about it. So, let's talk about benefit versus value. Sometimes they are used interchangeably. When we met with the core committee team members of this practice guide, benefit realization management, we were 6 people. We started developing this practice guide, and the first thing we discussed was the difference between benefit and value. We had lots of discussions, and when we look at the literature, when we look at the professional environment, really we did not find a common description of this difference. But we, after lots of discussions, we reached a simple definition. Value is actually defined as the net result of realized benefits less the cost of achieving these benefits. So that is the value. Value is actually without cost. So we have benefits and we have lots of, we may just spend money to reach to that benefit. And if we just deduct those costs from the benefits, then we reach to the value. So this is the simple difference and definition of between benefits and value. And this is the link that you can find also in BRM practice guide. The link showing between coming from strategy to the benefit and value. When we say strategy, it is the overarching goals that guide the direction of the organization. So we have, each organization should have a vision. Vision means that where the organization should intend to go in the future. And in order to achieve that vision, you have to define strategic objectives. So this is the objectives, the process of decomposing strategic goals into strategic initiatives. And in order to achieve those objectives, you have to identify initiatives, which are the portfolios, programs, and projects created to deliver a strategic goal. And those initiatives result as a result of outputs. The expected deliverable of a program, portfolio, and a project is called an output. And after the outputs, the results obtained through the use of project, program, and portfolio outputs are called outcomes. And if you can gain something which is realized by the organization and beneficiaries through these program, portfolio, and project outputs and resulting outcomes, you can call them benefits. And the net result of realized benefits less the cost of achieving these benefits is called value. And this value may be tangible and intangible, and this value should contribute to the strategy, to the vision of the company. So if you can set up these links between these definitions, then you can initiate, start the right projects and programs aligned with the strategic objectives, and the results of those, the deliverable of those projects and programs may result in outcomes and benefits, and the net benefit, the value, then help the organization to achieve, to reach to the vision of the organization. So this is a very simple but very useful way of presenting these terminologies, how they link with each other, and why we should align them, and we should always satisfy this link between these parameters. And we have a framework, benefit realization management framework. We can, by using this framework, we can set up our benefit realization management in our organization. First of all, we have to identify our benefits. Then we have to start executing them, and I will tell how. And we have to sustain them. looking at these steps, identifying benefits, executing benefits, and sustaining them, which one do you think? Could you please write your comments on the chat box also? Which one do you think should be the project duration time, and which one cannot be actually cannot happen during project duration? So sustain, you mean you can, it is not, it cannot happen during the project execution rally. Okay. What else? Identify, execute. Sustain has to be after execution. Okay. Ramila says. Okay. Let me then go on. What I mean with these specific 3 steps. When we say identify benefits, actually you can find these great tools in benefit realization management practice guide. Identify the part of the project as our colleague mentioned. This profile is used to define an understanding of a benefit's attributes and measures. So we have a benefit name, benefit description. We can categorize benefits. I will show how. Organizational goal objective. The link between the benefit and the strategy can be written here. And here we should assign a benefit owner, to this benefit. And we should also mention which the key stakeholders, which stakeholder actually expect this benefit. That's also critical to manage the benefit. You may also write down dependencies, risks, assumptions. You may define metrics in order to measure. And also, you may just establish a benefits register by categorizing benefits like as tangible, intangible, planned, emergent, unplanned. It may be this benefit, direct or indirect, long-term or short-term, or etc. You may just increase this benefit categorizations. So this registration will help you to identify and then to monitor your benefits. And here the critical thing is benefit owner in this stage, identify stage. Why? Because as I mentioned during my first session, there will be always a dilemma, benefit versus project performance. There will be lots of decisions to be made by project manager, and some of the decisions may be conflicting with project efficiency or triple constraint parameters and benefits, as I mentioned. So assigning a owner to the benefit will help us to solve this dilemma in a win-win relationship. Because if only a project manager is assigned also as a benefit owner, then that will be a really problem in terms of making decisions. So benefit owner should always take care of benefits and should find an optimal way when taking decisions with project manager. That's why the benefit owner should be introduced in the organizations when you are developing your benefit realization management and plans. As I mentioned, there may be tangible and intangible benefits. Here are some examples. Rate on investment, rate on return, return on investment, cost reduction, market share change, increased revenue generation change, Some intangible ones: employee morale, customer satisfaction, regulatory action avoidance, brand and image perceptions. So you may measure and control tangible ones, but it is really difficult to evaluate intangible ones. And you have to, at the end of the identify, you have to also develop a charter describing your benefits, describing your benefit owners, your responsibilities, and all other details about benefit and benefit realization. And also, at that identify stage, you are expected to develop a benefit realization management plan. This is also critical. How to define benefits and how to react to the benefits, how to realize benefits should be included in this plan. Here is a simple view of the relationships of business case and BRM strategy results in benefit realization management plan. Also, benefit profiles should be input as well as this benefits register, so that this benefit realization plan, management plan, will be your guidance throughout your benefit journey. And after that, there is the execute stage. So here, planned benefits are clearly communicated to key stakeholders. So it's a continuous journey, because those benefits may be useless, meaningless, if the expectation of that stakeholder change, or a new benefit can be identified as the stakeholder change or as the stakeholder expectations change. So we have to communicate very effectively with the key stakeholders. Program and project teams understand how their outputs contribute to planned benefits. That's one of the critical things, as I mentioned to the first session. Benefits should be very clear and understandable and open to the project team. Progress reviews are punctual during this execution, and there is a clear way of discovering emerging benefits as well as the threat of these benefits. So in the execution phase, by using the plan, you have to identify emerging benefits and threat of these benefits as well. And when we come to the sustain side, this stage focuses on the acceptance and use of the outputs that create outcomes leading to the realization of the benefits. So as your most of your comments mentioned, sustaining is generally after the project completion. Benefit sustainment, which are the ongoing activities performed by the benefit owner and beneficiary to assure the continuation of outcomes and benefits achieved through project outputs. And benefit owners, beneficiaries, and business analysts, rather than project managers, typically focus on this stage because projects are generally at this stage. And when during sustain, we really collect the results of the output and define we actually realize the benefits during this sustain stage, and we have to maybe here again identify new benefits, the unintended benefits during this sustain stage, like Opera House in Sydney. It is an unintended benefit, lots of visitors, and if you have a good benefit realization management in your organization, you can catch those benefits, and even they are unintended. There might be some concerns need to be addressed. Are benefits tangible, intangible, short-term and or long-term being tracked? So you have to check this. Have outputs been transitioned to and approved by key stakeholders, including accountable operational or business owners? This is a very good checklist. are realized benefits being measured and verified against applicable plans? Are benefits being realized within the time frame of the benefits realization measure? So by using this checklist, you can just see whether you are in a good position in this sustained stage. And let's look at from the organizational perspective. First of all, now a change is needed because there are new roles like benefit owner. And also, there is a need to change in the mindset. Nowadays, project managers are generally more accountable. Project managers are accountable for project triple consideration. They were not asked whether this benefit is realized or this benefit is identified. So new roles should be introduced, as well as project manager's role should be also extended. And new perspectives should be achieved. So in this organizational perspective, from organizational strategy to portfolios, programs, and projects, you should at each level introduce benefit owner, other than the other classical roles. Like in the projects, you have project management, middle management, line management, business analysis. You should introduce also benefit owner into the organization. So as I mentioned, this requires a mindset shift, and change is needed, and change is really difficult because you have to first show the people in the organization that that change is needed. If you cannot show the need for change, people will not move to the change, will not start the change. Even if you are able to show this need for change, people not move to the change if it is not clear. So you have to show the value in this change. And even if people see the need for change and see the value for the change, see the benefit of the change, again, you may have a problem, you may have a challenge of not finishing the change, because it's a really long journey of achieving a change. And in order to finish this change, you have to get the support of the majority of the people in your organization on this change. So if you can see the need for change, if you can show the need for change, if you can show the benefit of this change to the organization, and if you can gain the support of the majority of the organization, then you can achieve this change. You can achieve adapting this benefits realization mindset in your organization. So let's get back to our starting point. Can you just see this, the first question I asked you, whether these projects are successful or not? Do you see them in a different way, a different answer now, or did you get a different perspective? I hope so. Now I'm sure you look from a different perspective to this question. So our new focus should be benefit. Actually, as project management professionals, all you know that all the project management is seen a profession, a great profession in our organizations. It's also very applicable in our social lives. Project managers are lucky, in my opinion, because they learn lots of tools and techniques and approaches that can be applicable to their own life, in their social life, in social relationships. And this approach is also very valid. Benefit realization. In your life, in your social life, look for opportunities when you are really just starting your own project within your social life. So if you have this need focus of benefit, then you will really can find opportunities, even they are unintended. So I'll use at least 20 minutes for the questions as well, if you have. I saw lots of questions during the chat box, but I could not catch them. So maybe if you can ask them, or if Ketan, can you just remind those if it is possible. So I will be very happy to answer those questions.
Any questions? I think we can have them in the chat and we can pick up those questions one by one.
The first question from Vijay. Can more time of a project be done even before starting a project? Actually, yes. Actually, it should be the right time. That should be the right time before project, because both understanding or identifying stakeholder expectations, or even if you use for risk identification, you should conduct that at the beginning of the project. And you can also conduct it in order to identify the new ones during the project, but the right place is at the beginning of the project, even starting a project, as you mentioned. And I think I'll get some questions from the chat box. Anil asks, is in New York Metro project, did they have a BRM plan? So in New York Metro project, actually, as the customer seems to be the mayor, so New York Metro Municipality. So, but the critical stakeholder in that part is the people living in New York. So the expectations of all that critical stakeholder, the people living in Metro, actually did not were not considered. So that's the problem. So I don't think they have a benefit realization management plan, because if they did catch that as a disbenefit, and they would take precautions, because nowadays the New York Metro is used very well. What they did is they really made lots of campaigns, lots of things to make people get used to Metro. That could be done during the project if they had realized that before. So that is the problem. Actually, there is a good example related with Dubai Metro. I don't know whether has anyone seen Dubai Metro. A Turkish company, I know the CEO of that company, was the project owner. They constructed the Dubai Metro. And he told me that they presented the budget for the New York Metro, and the cost was very applicable to what they intend to do, considering the scope. But after a few weeks, the municipality of the Dubai Metro, the project owner, asked them to increase the budget twice of the first budget, and add some luxury to the metro stations, because of course the CEOs asked the reason for that, and the mayor told him that because if there is no luxury in the metro stations, the people will not get attracted and use the metro. So they just realized the expectations and actually identify the benefit and achieve that, even if it increased the cost of the project. So it's all related with understanding the expectations, but you have to be aware of that. Ajay asks how planner can contribute in benefit realization management. So, actually, how planner can contribute? Each of the people, each of us is a stakeholder in the project. Planner, scheduler, or engineer. So each of us can identify a benefit. It is all. It is not as I mentioned. Benefit realization management is not a specific role to a person. It's a common role. So, how can a planner contribute? Yes, planner can contribute, but it depends on the content. So it depends on the project, but he can. The planner can also contribute. How important is social benefits from any project as compared to organizational benefits? Do organizations care for social benefits when their own benefits get compromised? Okay. In the last 3 or 4 years, social benefits were actually not considered as important as today, but it is gaining importance. We have intangible benefits, as I mentioned, and social benefits are generally intangible. So, since they are difficult to measure, and since they are difficult to positive results, and to show them those positive results to the executives, it is really challenging to add them to the projects. So we have to find ways actually to make visual as much as possible to include our social benefits to our projects. Organizations should care for social benefits, but I hope it will be more understood in the coming days. But as I mentioned, it is difficult due to its intangibility, due to its difficulty in showing, presenting them. It is difficult. But meaning that it's difficult, it does not mean that we should stop. We should always try to include social benefits in our projects, I believe. I try to. I always try to. Okay, any questions? If not, since we have time, I would like to part of my presentation, if you don't mind. Digital transformation. I would like you to show a benefit that each of us consider for our project. Think always present or really understand digital transformation as a benefit for your project. digital information is changing how projects are delivered now. Now we are in times of big data for our projects as well. There are lots of data, even coming from the previous projects or new data is created during our projects. So finding ways to be able to use this data to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of our project decisions will help us create new benefits. Let's learn knowledge transfer from the other projects and from our projects. And the processes can be all developed as a benefit using this digital transformation opportunities. So this is a shift, and this brings new capability in project management with enabling greater sharing, remote access, searching and updating of information with visibility, and most importantly, increasing use of statistics and search and pattern matching across vast data sets of providing new opportunities, transform project governance and project delivery processes. So up to now, we have talked about the PMI talent triangle: technical project management, leadership, strategy and business management, and now project managers also should improve their digital sides. One of the recent research done by PMI, the top 6 skills for project delivery are presented here. The first one is data science skills. So as a project manager, in order to get that benefit, you have to know how to deal with data. You have to know data management, analytics, and big data. For example, me, I'm really now, for the last 6 months, I'm getting some courses, some free courses from universities related with data science in order to improve my data science skills. So you have to focus on that. And as I mentioned, there are lots of data being created during project. There are lots of data created by other projects. And by using those data, you can really increase your efficiency and effectiveness of your project decisions. You can make right decisions by the help of those data. So here a benefit is hidden in the digitalization process. I really recommend you to be a digital project manager also. Thank you very much for all. Here is my email address. You can always get in touch with me. I will be very happy to be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mustafa, for wonderful session. Now I'll call upon Mr. Chintan Oza for giving vote of thanks.
Thank
Is
you.
our Vice President Chintan?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Ketan. Thank you so much. This was indeed an excellent session. Thank you, Mustafa, for spending time in early hours of your local time and sharing your experiences and knowledge. I indeed like the benefit management part of it, and this is where something, I mean, not all managers are really, I would say that careful in delivering that project. So it was indeed good session to uh, refresh the fundamentals and the benefit management. Indeed, you also gave a flavor of connected these benefit managements to the new age digital project manager and stress upon the new insights. So thank you so much for this session. We would like to continue our collaboration between PMI Mumbai chapter and PMI Turkey chapter. In the time to come, we can collaborate in multiple ways, starting from exchanging speakers to sharing articles in our respective publication and exchanging and extending local events to our membership. So we would continue the discussion. Definitely, this is just the beginning, and we are on the runway. Thanks once again. And yes, I would like to say in Turkish, çok teşekkür ederim.
Thank you very much, Sultan. We are all open to collaboration and sharing knowledge. This is the critical thing in these challenging times, I believe. Thank you very much for inviting and listening to me and giving the opportunity to share my knowledge. And thank to all the participants. They were very interactive, and I also learned from them lots of things. Thank you very much to all people joining us.
Thanks, Chintan, for that wonderful vote of thanks. Now I would like to call upon our president, Mr. Bharat Bhai, for giving you a certificate as a token of appreciation. He is also co-founder member of our PMI Mumbai chapter. So I would request Bharat Bhai to say 2 words, as well as I'll open the certificate and we will show you on the screen. But meanwhile, speech. Bharat, over to you.
Bharat, you would have to unmute yourself.
Yes, Bharat.
Now you would be audible.
Now,
you are
yes.
audible now. Please go ahead.
You are audible now.
Thank you very much, Chetan Bhai, for your vote of thanks. Thank you very much, Chetan Bhai, for organizing such a marvelous event and speakers for us, for our chapter's benefits. And let me thank Mr. Mustafa here, being a founder member of the chapter. You are well aware of the teething problems and teething troubles and gathering the members and giving number value, you are well aware, and within that all that things you have given a value to project management as well. And at the same time, you are a volunteer at the PMI global level as well. That's why we are proud to have you with us here. And let me thank you, and please accept on behalf of this chapter our token of appreciation, a small certificates for the records and for our this thing also. So please accept my gratitude and please accept the certificates. Mr. Ketan will post you in a soft copy format. Please accept the same. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bharat. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very glad to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I would request all panelists to be here so that we can just take one quick snap of all the panelists. Okay, thanks a lot. So again, announcement for all the participants. As mentioned earlier, we would be circulating our feedback link to all the participants. Please fill up feedback form and send it to us, submit to us. It is very important for us to improve on our all the programs. And once more, thanks to Mr. Mustafa for sparing his time and sharing his knowledge. And we look forward to more collaboration and more sessions like this.
I hope.
At the early hour he has spent his the middle of the night to walk up for us. That is a highly appreciation because it must be 3 o'clock there for him now.
Yeah, it was early morning, 7:30 for him when we started the seminar. They are 2.5 hours behind our India time.
Okay.
So first thing when I set up the seminar, I asked him only early morning for you. You are okay with timings. So he said, yes, I'm okay. And I'm always
Oh,
ready for this kind of early morning sessions. So I said,
that's
thanks a lot then.
real PMI volunteering. Always available. Always available.
It's
So,
always
so
available.
Mustafa, time for a Turkish breakfast now.
Great.
Yeah, now I will have my breakfast.
Oh, I mean, indeed, I'm fan of Turkish breakfast and Turkish tea, especially.
I,
So
I,
one more.
in the coming months or years, we will be talking face to face and have a drink of Turkish coffee.
Sure, sure, definitely. I look forward to.
Okay, and one more. I think I should not forget PMI Mumbai chapter IT team for the support and enabling this webinar. All these days, webinars are not possible without IT support. So thanks to Swati ji and also Sunil for providing their support. Also thanks to
More is there.
MVP programs, Mr. Girish Jogi for preparing the presentation, which we are seeing in the beginning and the break, as well as the certificate. He provides all this kind of support to me. So thanks to everyone for making this possible. And now
And
I'm
last but
ending
not
the
the least,
session.
Ketan, thank you so much for orchestrating the entire event. And I would request, let us have a virtual round of applause for entire team and the speaker, Mr. Mustafa. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Bye
nice
bye.
day
Have a
and
great
Thank
Sunday
you,
ahead.
everyone.
stay
Bye
safe.
bye. Thanks.
Stay
Thanks.
safe. Stay healthy. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.